So it is the run-up to the 2023 Blackpool Magic Convention. And this week, I have been doing interviews with some of the biggest dealers and producers that are going to be at the dealer hall at the Blackpool Magic Convention. And if you're going to be talking about some of the best dealers and the best producers, you cannot have a conversation with this guy. The person I'm going to be speaking to today is an incredible performer, has full Penn and Teller, a great creator, somebody who has literally created, in my opinion, some of the best magic and mentalism that's ever been created. And he's got some absolute stonkers that are launching at Blackpool 2023. I am, of course, talking about the nicest guy in magic, that's official, the one and only John Morton. How you doing, John? You okay, mate?
Thank you, mate. I'll take the nicest guy in magic. The rest I don't know. We'll see.
You know what?
I speak
to a lot of people, and you're one of the very few people that when I bring up your name, everybody's like, "Oh, John." They kind of do it just like that. No, John. Like everybody loves you, man. Everybody loves you.
That's good news. That's good news. It's nice to be liked. It's nice to be liked. Hopefully, it's for the right reasons. So yeah, no, it's good. Cool, mate. It's good. It's good. So yeah, I've got a few things out for Blackpool.
Your booth, before you start, your booth is always exciting, and the reason it's always exciting is a lot of your stuff doesn't go through Murphy's. So the only place that you can see it is at your booth or at your website. And I remember last year, the two things that everybody was talking about. There's always that thing at Blackpool, isn't there? And everybody was buzzing. Have you seen the twins? 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 And then the other one was the baby book. So between the baby book and the twins, you stole the show, and for good reason. I mean, twins is just like, you know, all I can say is Craig Filichetti must hate you, because what you've done is you've taken that normally you'd have to pay $500 to do, and you've made it like a $20 product, and it's just as good. So like last year was a stonking knockout. How are you going to top it, man?
Yeah, it's a tall order. Twins was a great release, and the whole point of releasing Twins really was to get the impromptu version out for people to know about, and I think that's what really people loved about it, the fact that, you know, you can literally just sort of like find stuff around you in a coffee shop or whatever, wherever you are. So I think it's nice actually to know that people still value knowledge as much as they do a toy, if you know what I mean. And that's what it was. Having said that, I brought out a toy this year, but yeah, it's nice to know that you know, that people do value that. And I purposely price pointed it at £10 at the convention, purely because it really was a download. It was really a download and it was something I taught in my lectures for quite a while, still do, in fact. But I felt like with the poker chips that came with it, the poker chips are such nice quality, it just made sense to give them with it and make it a physical product and make it just something a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it also helped them get to grasp with the whole method. I mean, it's all based on Larry Becker's brilliant genius mind. Larry Becker, in my opinion, is one of the best mentalists in the world. The guy's an absolute genius. I sort of bow down to him. He's everything about him. It's funny because I independently come up with some ideas these days, and then I look back later, and you guarantee Larry Becker's already thought of it, because the guy's just amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
he is.
So yeah, if people don't know who Larry Becker is, we should. And if you don't, get all his information, get his books and whatever, because the guy's a genius. He really is. Yeah, all hail Larry Becker. Well, it's interesting, when we did game night with Brett Barry, I included the flashback principle, but in a new method, a new way of doing it, using a watermark on pages. And Brett actually took it to Larry to show him. And we were really honoured that he thought he was really good and gave us permission and everything. So yeah, Larry's a great guy. So yeah, that was quite a nice moment. I know Brett was like quite choked up about the fact he could be there with him at the time. Wish I could have been there myself. So yeah, Twins was really good. Baby book obviously had been out for quite a while. Believe it or not, the baby book originally was done for my little girl who was 1. She's now just turned 9. So yeah, that's how long the baby book's been out. So it's been out quite a while. At Blackpool, I will have a handful of baby books with me. That's the one that's got, which is the one version that Penn and Teller we did on Penn and Teller because it did change. The original did have a different cat on it. And then I have literally only 3 of these. I had 5, but now I've only got 3 of them left, which was a very limited run I did of a sport version of the baby book.
Oh, wow.
Which
Okay.
very, very few people have ever seen. And I had 5 printed for it because I only ever do it in a small run, and 2 have already sold before Blackpool. So yeah, so I have that. It's a different key to that, which I think is why magicians like it, because if everybody knows the key to this one, that one will still fool them because it's a different key. And then the other one I've got at Blackpool, I've got 10 of these, I think, or maybe 8 now, the Christmas version, because I kept getting asked about that last year. So there will be the Christmas one, which again has a different key as well. So those 3 will be on the stand in extremely small numbers this year. I haven't brought loads of them with me. I've just brought literally what I've got here in the workshop. So yeah, that they will be with me. I'll also have a few twins. I'll have the big blind from last year. And I think that's and I'll have something supers. I'll have the last run of something supers, because something super this way comes, which is the superhero trick with the little sort of bubblegum cards. Basically, the new release, which is this, kind of does the same thing. So it seems pointless to do this. Does it, and then a million things other as well. So I just incorporated the same method. And that was after a conversation with a friend of mine, yours called Thomas. Who came up with it. He said, "Oh, you know, it'd be great if we did the same thing as something super." So I added it in. So he's responsible for about an extra week's worth of my graphics design, thanks to him. But it was a worthwhile thing to do. So you know, yeah. So should we get into what it is?
Let's get into let's talk about, first of all, about the big one, which is, yes, you go for it. Talk about what it is, you know, how it came to be, what it does. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so back in July last year, I created a trick for Ryland, and it was based on my icon, my big icon, and of course, cross between the big icon and the little icon that I do, and it was to do with Lego minifigures, and it was basically a board, a 4-thing board, and somebody chose from a random board of all different Lego figures. They chose randomly a head, a body, and a legs, and it was revealed in various different ways, including, I still have the poster, a poster with Ryland. It was a mishmash Lego figure. They were signed by the boy himself, eBay when he's famous. That's all I can say. Not that far to go either, have I, really? I'm sure that's probably worth a bob or 2 already. So yeah, so it did that. And I loved the trick, and it was really fun creating it. It was something a bit different. You know me, the same with the baby book. I like the fun, colourful images. For me, mentalism in a lot of ways can sometimes be quite dull and boring because it's usually very minimal props, and you know, a notepad isn't that interesting, let's be honest, no matter what you draw on it. So I've always had a thing for fun props, things that are colourful, add colour to everything, which is why the baby book came about, and that's also why the superhero thing came out with the Lego figures for Ryland. And of course, he loves Lego, as does Eleanor, my little girl. So it worked quite well. In fact, some of the Lego pieces on Ryland's board were actually stolen from my little girl's Lego set. The ones that hold the cards on were actually nicked from her Lego set. She doesn't know that yet, either, so if she watches this, I'll be in trouble. So yeah, so that came about, and I love the trick so much, and I love the effect so much. I really wanted to do it myself, but obviously not the same as Ryland's that we did on stage. I wanted to do it close up. So the Lego minifigures deck was made. I should say Lego, other brands are available. We don't get in trouble with Lego, but having said that, I have checked some rules with them. But so what this essentially is a deck that has loads of different Lego minifigures on it, and they're all different on every single one. But it's so much more than that. So you can do the same trick that Ryland did on stage. So essentially, what you can do with this is you can let the spectator choose, as you force, basically, 3 characters on them, and then you have a reveal. In this case, there's the one that we did for Ryland. You can even, if you want to, and go to the expense of buying one, you can buy a little minifigure that matches. I don't include the minifigures purely because it would have put the cost up so much, and I couldn't get the quantity in that people would want. So rather than let them down, I didn't want to do that. So I haven't done. So I haven't included Lego figures, but you can get them because I did. So there you go. So it comes with 2 different cards on that. You've got one that's got the Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wonder Woman, and this one has Spider-Man, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So you only have to buy basically 4 figures, and you can create both of those. The reason I gave you 2 cards, so you can repeat it at gigs. Simple as that. Yeah. I've been working this. I created this deck. I look back when I actually created it, and I read Ryland's Trick went out in July, and I created this in August, and I've been working it ever since at every single wedding event I've been doing, because I wanted it worked in. I only tend to release a few things every year, and they're only ever done once I've worked them in and I know they work. I'm not going to be one of these ones that thinks of something and just puts it out the next day, because that's not good enough. The other thing I did is I took this to every lecture I did. I took it to every convention I was at, anytime I was with other magicians. There's a meetup that a few of us do at Mark Oben's house every now and then. Took it there. I wanted other people's opinions, which is why I got you involved. Yeah. So I'm very much more the mentalist side of things. Not a big card guy. I can do a semi-decent double lift, although I have a friend that laughs at me when he sees me do it. So when it came to the card things with this thing, because you could do all sorts of card things, I got you two involved because you two were there, the genesis of it, all of it, with Ryland's Trick. And I'm all for giving back. So if somebody comes to me with an idea of a product, or even if I just brainstorm with them, it always goes back to them, because that's how I feel things should be. They should be full circle. So it made obvious sense with you, your card knowledge, and Ryland with his knowledge, to bring you two on board with this particular project once we've got it made, and also to see how we can change it, which it did. The original deck has changed. Only 2 runs of it, which wasn't too bad actually, but the ideas swapped and changed quite a lot, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
So with this deck, like I say, you get the 2 gimmick cards, you get a Ryland card, which is almost like a Joker card, but it does come in handy with the 1-2 tricks. Has a couple of strange characters on the back. We get a blank face card, which you can do it so you can actually pop out the minifigure. So you could have any of the minifigures. Basically, what you do is you'd have, interestingly, on the destruction videos, which you kindly did for me, you do it a different way to I do it. So the way I do it is I have the minifigure under the deck, and then I'll do a double. Now you'll see how bad my double is now. I will do a double, flash the card, and then basically steal off the top card, crack out the minifigure, and then it's blank, so it looks like he's popped out. Your handling is actually a lot better than mine is, which is why I got you involved. And also it comes with a double backer as well, because I know people love double backers for different different
routine
bits.
That Ryland created on there. That's my favorite routine with the deck, which is on the trailer. There's a bit of a glimpse of the end of it where you get them to cut the deck 4 times. And they apparently cut freely every single time. You get them to freely name a group of superheroes, and you show that you've actually they name the Avengers, and they cut to all 4 of the Avengers. But the double backer makes it so clean. It's. I wish I could say it was mine. It wasn't. It was Ryland's. But that's the trick that I use with it more than anything. It's just killer.
I remember you showed me that when we first were jamming on what you could do with it, and it fooled the pants off me. It really did. It was incredible. So all hail to him, hey? He's going to be taking over soon. It really is. So he's genius. So the other thing the deck can do. So let me explain what the deck is. So we'll just grab a couple of the cards here. So we'll use this one for example. So we've got Captain Jack Sparrow here. So this is a stacked marked deck. I don't think we're sort of exposing too much here.
No, this is yeah.
So essentially, the back design, just by glimpsing the back of the card, not only will I know what the face is, I'll also know if I was to cut the cards, I know that's the fireman there. Okay, the fireman's here. I know that's the nurse. I also know from the back design what the release date, because they all have a release date underneath the minifigure. And it'll tell you, and from glimpsing the back, you know what the release date is as well. You also can cut, and you know how many cards are in this hand, and therefore how many cards are in this hand. There are 50 cards in the deck, not 52. And there's a reason for that. That's because my maths is rubbish. And I didn't want to have the extra 2 to mess me up. Whereas most people can sort of like go there, see how many cards are in there, and work out how many are there by taking one away from 50, basically.
Yeah.
That was so again, it's all
And with
thought out.
and it's important to say, with no memory work. I mean, you don't. It's not like
No
it's
memory work.
a deck where you have to. Nothing like that. There is a system built into the cards where you'll immediately, with a split second, know how many cards you're holding, how many cards are left, everything. But just for people that are like, oh, stack, I don't want to worry about a stack. You don't have to use it as a stacked thing if you don't want to. On the tutorial, me and Ryland go through about 10 routines, I think. And half of them are using the stacked principle, but the other half of them are wild cards and sandwich routines and all sorts of stuff that doesn't require any stack at all. So you can have these shuffled, but even if they're shuffled and they're not stacked, you've still got access to the marking system. So you've still got access to immediately when they take a card, know what it is. And what I mean is, my eyes are terrible, and I can see those marks from a mile off. Like, it's so obvious when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people have used to the stuff that I release now, that it has to be almost self-working, very, very simple to do, fooling but simple, a worker. So I have various different categories. It has to be no memory work, because my memory is shocking. My eyesight's shot these days, so again, it has to be clear for me as well. So I have, if it works for me, it'll work for pretty much everybody. That's the idea. So yeah, I mean, actually, I don't tend to keep it in stack anyway. It's good for stack if you want to do that motion and get them there, as in something super this way comes. Personally, I tend to have the deck shuffled and handed around, and I get them to choose whatever minifigure they like, whichever one they're drawn to, and then I dribble down, get them to put them in, and each time, and in the process of them putting them in, I know which ones they went for. And that's the routine I've been doing probably most out of all the ones. The two I do is that one, and I do the one that gets the mixed up minifigure. They're the two ones I tend to do more than any others, to be honest. That's what I've been working over the last, 6 months or so, heavily, is those particular routines, because it suits my character, because as going out as a sort of mental magic kind of thing, that works for me. It might not work for everybody. Some people might want to go more down the card line, in which case the card tricks are going to be great. Because there's some amazing card tricks on that route, on that tutorial. So yeah, it's a bit of a mix for everybody. The other thing, which is thanks to you, it now has a story deck in it. So if it's in stack order, you can actually do a story with this thing. And that took me another 4 days, thanks to you, to sit here with the entire deck on me. Some of the cards got changed to make the story go, and it's a very cheesy story. It's an epic tale about 5 people who become superheroes and basically defeat a giant marshmallow man. And the reason why marshmallows are sprinkled on top of hot chocolate in coffee shops is basically what the story is. But it's good for, you said about kids entertainers, I think it's good for everybody. It's just a bit of fun. I showed this to a magician friend of mine who isn't a kids entertainer the other day. In fact, I'll tell you his name, Kieran Johnson. I showed it to Kieran Johnson, and Kieran loved the idea. And so I've got to send him a deck now, because he's kind of like he wants to work it in. So it's got that built into it as well. Whether you use it or not is entirely up to you. The idea is I've given you a tool that'll work for mentalists, it'll work for magicians, it'll work for kids entertainers, it'll work for everybody. No, next to no memory work. Once you've gone through the deck and you recognise what each character is, and if you don't, the name's underneath it anyway. Once you've got used to that, there's no memory work. You don't have to do anything really. You just glimpse it, and it's really easy to see when you know what you're looking. If you don't know what you're looking for, you don't realise it's there. It's one of those things, So yeah, I'm very proud of it, and I've been loving working it. I really have.
Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's an instant hook, because the thing is, kids love Lego. Parents know what Lego is because they're probably standing on it every couple of seconds. And it's just as popular these days with adults as it is with kids,
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm just toy into an adult thing now with like different sculptures and things, and they've got TV shows on it. It's a known thing out there, So yeah, it's hopefully going to be good. I think the response tends to be everyone loves the idea of it. They really do. So that will be out at Blackpool.
And I tell you what, before we go any further and we talk about everything else, we'll play the trailer, because I've put the trailer together for you. So here we go. Here's the trailer for the brand new trick being released at Blackpool. Let's have a look at this. My name is Craig Petty, and welcome to John Morton's That Figures. This is an incredible utility tool for magicians and mentalists. And let's be honest, who doesn't love Lego? What that figures is it's a custom-made, custom-built pack of cards designed to look like something you would pick up in a normal toy store. Every single card has got a different Lego character on them, and they are instantly recognizable. But built into this deck of cards are some serious, major utility ideas that you can use to blow your audiences away. First of all, the cards are marked, but you won't be able to see how they're marked until you know, and then you can see the markings a mile off. They're even marked in more than one way, so you can see what the card is the person's thought of without even looking at the back of the card. You're on, man. You help me. It's the ninja. Show them. It's also stacked. In other words, it's in a stacked position, so you will know instantly when they cut the amount of cards off. You will know instantly how many cards they've cut off, and there is no memory work at all. Included in the deck are multiple gaff cards, including revelation cards, and the whole project is put together with myself and Ryland Petty. Me and Ryland put together a 2-hour tutorial with live performances teaching numerous routines that are perfect for magicians and perfect for mentalists. There's mind reading, there's magic, there's color changes, and there's more. And you cut wherever you wanted to. It's really interesting that you cut to Iron Man.
Oh, why?
You cut to Captain America. You cut to Thor. And if this is Hulk, I think that would be nothing short of incredible. This is John Morton's That Figures, and this is the deck that you've been waiting for. This is incredible. My name's Craig Petty, and I'm proud to bring to you That Figures by John Morton. Wow. I mean, I'm telling you, it's going to be the same thing as Twins. You're going to be sold out halfway through day 2. You're going to be in the bar with your feet up all day Sunday. You're going to have sold everything out. You're going to have a sign on your booth saying, "Better luck next year, come quicker," and you're going to be done. Like, it's.
Well, I'm only actually in Blackpool for the Friday and the Saturday this year. So the Sunday, there is somebody going to be watching my stand, but I won't be there. So if you want to come and see me dem it, you have to come on the Friday or Saturday, I'm afraid. And you're right, Twins sold out. I think we had 5 left on the Sunday, and they went literally first thing in the morning. So yeah, I'm only going to have probably 50 with me. I've got a lot of people wanting it that aren't at Blackpool, so I'm holding a few back for them. So that they will get it afterwards. But short of that, yeah, come and see us soon would be the advice on that. I'm hoping that people love it when they do it. I really do love it. So yeah, we'll see.
Superb. And what else have you got? I see a lot of boxes behind you. You've finally got Icon ESP back in stock, right?
Yeah. So Icon ESP, I wanted to have 30 made up for Blackpool, but I've literally run out of time because of other projects I'm doing for Blackpool. I just ran out of time. So I literally, last night I finished at 11 o'clock, sticking and boxing those. We boxed them up this morning, and there were 16. That said, they might all go before I even hit Blackpool because I've had so many pre-orders on that. My good friend and your friend, Luca Volpe, I love Luca to bits, and he's a great guy, but he also causes me hassle as well because he'll promote the fact I'm doing it, and I'll get a million messages come through wanting it. And I've only released those, I think, 3 times in a batch. And every time they've gone, and I've literally had a list of people going, we missed out, want it. So there's a good chance they might not even hit Blackpool. But I will have one with me to dem. And if you want it, I will be making some more after Blackpool. So we'll see. They may or may not be 1 or 2 with us. They can pick it up at Blackpool, though. If it gets bought beforehand, it will be available to pick up there. So that will be there. There is a one-off item at Blackpool that I'm bringing along, which may or may not have been sold yet. I don't know yet. Which is a small icon that is it predicts a perfect date. So it predicts a transport that you go to the date with, the location where it is in the world, a meal, a drink, and an activity to do on the date. And it was one I made as a one-off just to see if I could make it. And it's about yay big. the tiles are the same size, 7 by 7 centimeters as on my normal lottery icon. But because there's only 5 by 5, it folds in half. It fits in an A3 case, so it would fit in a briefcase.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a one-off just to see if I could make it, and I am bringing it with me because basically I'm trying to clear some space in my workshop. So that may be on the stand if you're quick. It'll be literally the first person to hand money into my hand will be the one that takes it away with them, and they're going to get a one-off piece that no one else has got.
Wow.
So that will be there. And the other main release, I have two others actually. I have Clear Force, which is essentially a force bag, which is a net force bag, so it's completely clear, which is something that comes out of my lecture. It's actually, I teach people how to make this on my lecture for like literally about £1. And whenever I do my lecture, I always have a few made up. My mum's a seamstress, so she sews these up for me. And then if you can't be bothered to do it, or you're not very good at sewing, I sell them at a tenner. And every time I do that, they sell out. So I will have 30 of those with me. Again, once they're gone, they're gone. So that's for her. That's for her. So they're going to go out there. So I will have some of those.
Right.
If you want to know how to make it, come and ask me. I'll tell you. I don't mind. I don't mind telling you how to make it for a really cheap price. If you want to be bothered to sew it up the right way. If you can't be bothered, just throw a tenner my way and you can have one. And the other release is something that we teased over a year ago. In fact, about a year and a half ago. You know what this is because you've got one. Yeah, I know you have. And it's the tube. So myself and Luca Volpe it was just after lockdown opened, Luca came up with the idea of doing a trick called the tube. And it's genius. And I've been working it now, for about a year and a half, probably longer than that, maybe 2 years now. I don't know. When we first teased it, we just literally put one picture on a group once of the tube and put the tube and left it at that. We didn't do anything with it. It was just a tease. And the amount of response we got from it was insane. And I actually had my father-in-law learn to wood turn to make the tube. So this is one of the ones that's the finished product. There's the tube there.
And John is going to tell you that this is a wonderful tool for mentalists. Forget all that mentalist rubbish. It is, but that's not why you want it. You want it because I've been using it now since I got one off John, and it is the best bill to impossible location I have ever used.
Don't you?
I literally just give that out to somebody. I do a routine with a bill vanishes, I take it back, it's in there. It's the best bill to impossible location I've ever found. So John's now going to sit here and tell you about all the wonderful things John and Luca do with it and predictions and everything. Nobody cares about that. It's the best bill to impossible location that you're ever going to find on the market.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's funny because it's another one of those things that it's a tool, a bit like the Lego deck in a way, that suits any kind of sort of performer. So we went through several prototypes. We went through a lot of prototypes. Like I say, my father-in-law learned to wood turn to build this product. He literally bought a lathe and learned the skills. Since he made it, I've actually found another craftsman, a local craftsman here in Grimsby, and he now hand turns these for me. I only have 30 of them. Every single one of them is unique. So there's no two the same. They come in various different colours. So a different colour one there, and they're in different woods as well. There's a black one. I have a black one here. There's a grey one somewhere. There's another black one, different style there. Again, a different wood there. So they all come in different woods. This is my original prototype that I've been working for years and years and years now. Well, I say years and years, 2 years. And for me, the routine I do mostly with it is literally a 50-50 routine, which is probably the worst routine you can actually do with this. But I love 50-50 routines. I've been doing them for ages. They're in my stage show, they're in my close-up set. So I've been doing this for ages. So, and to give you an idea, imagine I walk up to a table and I introduce myself and I say, somebody's going to give the chance to win some money, 50 quid. And all they have to do is guess what's inside this tube. So inside this tube is a piece of paper, just a small piece of paper. That's all it is. There's nothing else inside the tube. I'm going to pop that in there so they can see that's fairly in there. I close it up. That now sits on top of a wine glass in the middle of the table. And I'll go somebody, I'll give you an idea what's inside. On the piece of paper, there is either a cross or a star. All you have to guess is whether it's the cross or the star. It's simple as that. You guess it right, you win the money. You can't be simpler. So what do you think, cross or star?
It's a star.
You think the star's in there? Okay. So I will give them a chance to change their mind if they want, and we'll go backwards and forwards while I'm doing some other tricks. It's one of those ones you can mix in. To give you an idea, because it starts interesting, you just pick that out of your head. But to give you an idea how people think with this, I'll tell you how people react when I do this. When I do this, when you think of a star, you think of like a star prize or something that's successful. A star is a successful thing, so you're probably right to go for a star. But likewise, if you think of a cross, it takes you back to when you were a child, and if you did something wrong at school, the teacher would put a cross beside. A cross would be a wrong choice to go for. Likewise, if you go for, if you think of Britain's Got Talent, when they don't do very well, they get an X because the X is a failure. So X would be to do that. So I think you're probably on the right money there to go for the star. But it's entirely up to you. Do you want the cross or the star? I'll give you one last chance to change your mind.
I'm changing. I want a cross.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Up to you.
Cross.
Last chance to change your mind.
Cross.
Cross. Then we'll take it out. One thing in here. You wanted the cross. I'm really sorry. You should have stuck with your first gut. It was the star inside. Too bad. Nothing else inside. Really sorry for that. I dropped the lid there somewhere. So yeah, that's basically what it does. I don't know where that went. I'll use the other one to show you how this works. Okay. So basically what this will do is it will change one thing to another. It's essentially a switch box, I guess, of sorts. I actually didn't switch it when you did it then, because you actually chose the right one. Full disclosure there. That was the perfect outcome, which is the thing you don't want normally. So I'll use my prototype of this. This is also set up to give people an idea. And I wouldn't normally expose this kind of thing. Like I say, this is only for magicians, so please don't kick me out of the magic circle. So I want people to be, with all my stuff, I'm very honest about what things are. I always have been with everything. I will gladly send anybody instructions for any of my routines, because basically you need to buy the product in order to do it. And for me, I have a feeling that at the end of the day, we're not trying to fool other magicians. This is the thing that winds me up sometimes about products. Without me getting on a rant, and that's your style, I'm not going to do rants, but a lot of the time with a product is, at the end of the day, we buy a product to fool lay people, not to fool other magicians. Well, you certainly do if you're a worker. So when I'm buying something, I want to know the warts and all, because that way I know what I can and can't do with it. So I'm going to basically explain warts and all. So thumb tip, this is the tube here. This is the star. That goes in there, like so. Okay, this piece of paper is in there. So if I want to switch, so we know that's the star. Okay, so watch this motion. Okay, lid's on top. That's still the star in there. If I want to take the star out, that's the motion to take the star out. This is still the star. This is the thing that me and Luca love so much. So that's the star, yeah? Mm-hmm. But if I want it to become the cross, again, lid goes on. I give them one last chance to change their mind, put the lid in my pocket. And this time, let's say they want it to be a star. I need to change that now into the cross. Same motion, exact same motion, nothing inside. And now it's the cross.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
So essentially what we're doing here is it will change one thing to another. So that's why I've been using it as 50-50. That said, that's probably, like I say, the worst thing you can do with it. Well, not the worst thing, but it's probably the most simple thing you can do with it. Now let's go to a different avenue with it. Let's imagine you go on Britain's Got Talent. And you do really well, you get 4 yeses. And just before you go off, you go, judges, I have something for you. And you give them a box, a little box that's got a padlock on it. And you go, inside this box, there's a little wooden tube. And inside that wooden tube, there's the winner of this season's Britain's Got Talent. I'm going to leave that with you. See you at the final. And off you go. Now, what's everyone going to say the next day? What was in the tube? What's in the box? What's in the box? That's all they're going to care about. Did he get it right? Did he get it right? Doesn't matter if you win or if you get through or anything, because the next day, when after it's all over, on Britain's Got Talent, on Good Morning Britain, there's going to be like the winner. It might just be you if you won it with a bit of luck, and next to him is going to be you with the box. Didn't you get it right? So all you have to do at this point is go, well, let's undo it. Unlock the box. They unlock the box. You take out the tube. In that motion there, this now has the winner of Britain's Got Talent on it. Hopefully with your name on it, if you've got it, if you won it, and you can basically reveal. So let's think of it another way. Let's imagine that you're doing it. Big corporate client rings you. They want you for something really amazing. So you go, okay, I'm gonna post you something in the post. So you post them on the box. You know, you get in the lock box or even just a jiffy bag sealed. You say, do not open, do not open, do not open. Send them this in the post. And then when it comes to the night of the show, you go, right, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO, you've got a parcel I sent you over a month ago. Yes, yes, great. Bring it up. So they bring it up. You tear open the box. You tear open the thing. Inside there's a tube. See, I knew the thing was going to be, to prove that I knew all this was psychic all the way along through this, I wrote down the headline on today's Daily Mail. If you've got a Daily Mail from today, great. Open it up, inside the piece of paper, it says the headline of the Daily Mail. Absolutely. So it could be that and so much more. There's other things you can do. If you can buy more than one of these if you want, and you can do it where one of them's got like a cross on a piece of paper, all the rest have got loos on it or whatever. So you can do anything you want with it. Because it's so portable, because this literally just goes in your pocket, it will do everything.
A couple of things I've been playing around with it. You can do double writing. So if you've got a notepad, and it's almost like a version of Cran's medallion. You put the tube down, you have a notepad, and you're just double writing. You're getting numbers off people at the table. You're double writing onto the slip of paper that you're holding in the notepad as well. And then all you have to do is just load that into the thumb tip as you turn it around and go in, and you've predicted the number. You can also use it as a multiple out system. If you get yourself a pocket index, you can use it as a multiple out that's been on the table the whole time. If you know Sankey's trick where two signatures change places on pieces of paper, you can do that very, very easily using a two bill transposition or two paper transposition, bill to impossible location, just to name a few. There's so the other thing
like a bill in orange kind of thing.
The other thing I've been playing around with it with is in a family show, giving that out to somebody at the very beginning. And kind of doing a silk to orange type effect, silk to apple, but with that. So you have your silk laid out on your whatever you call it that you get from haberdashery shops. You know, the thing that stretches the silk. Yeah. And you just get them to sign that silk, and you only want like a small one because that's all you need. But you have that signed, so they sign the silk. You then go through the vanish, however you want to vanish it. It's in the thumb tip. And then you take that back, and you show your hands empty, you reach in, and as you reach in, you pull out a silk, they take it out the rest of the way, and it's the signed silk that's sky's the limit. Sky's the limit.
It really is. I mean, I know Luca he's been doing the double writing thing. He has a great routine that he's been doing for years with a balloon with the double writing thing, and he's changed to this. He's been using it for Zoom as well. He's been doing it a lot over Zoom, as Luca's one of the biggest sort of Zoom guys out there, really. So yeah, it's a great tool. There's only going to be 30 of them on the stands. Every single one is unique. So if you want a choice, get here early would be the thing. They are two different sizes. I have so the whole is designed purposely for a regular Vernet thumb tip. So if you haven't already figured out, spoilers, it's not a thumb tip. The thumb tip is blacked inside, so it matches the inside of the tube. The tube has got card around the inside of it. And the reason for that is so the thumb tip slides in and out very easily. There's also a card inside the thumb tip. The reason I didn't use the black art felt that I started originally doing it is because it stops the paper coming out so smooth. And I want the motion to be exactly the same as it would be if you were taking it out for real. So if you don't use a Vernet thumb tip, if you use a different one, or if you've got a bigger thumb, you'll just want the slightly bigger size. It's simple as that. And if no matter what you get, you can alter it by literally just putting paper around the inside, like a brown card, black card, will just make it bigger or smaller depending on what finger you got. Luca has very small thumbs. He had to put some more card around his. I've got sort of standard Vernet thumbs, so I tend to use that. But you can do whatever you want with it. So it's customizable to you, because that's why my website's called Custom Magic. Everything is customizable to you. Just a little side note, I've just remembered something about the Lego deck. So it's called That Figures purposely because I don't want anybody that Googles Lego or minifigures to find it. So you've got no fear if you're performing this and somebody Google it and find out it's a trick. But there will be a Facebook group for this particular deck because I want people to share ideas and get creative with it. I might even make one for the tube actually as well. And I'm also going to upload this back design onto the site, onto the Facebook group. And the reason for that is because I want people to get creative with it and build your own gaffs. So if you have an idea that you want to you know, maybe there's a certain gaff card that would work really well for you. Well, you're going to have the artwork. I'm going to give you it. I'm going to tell you where I got these made as well. These are made by MPC and on a certain linen finish, so they slide like normal bicycle cards. They literally, you know, there's no plastic finish. They just work really, really well. So that people can actually have their own cards made up as gimmick cards. And if they want to sell their gimmick cards, let them do it. I don't care. You know, I want it to expand and become a thing. So if you're a creator and you've got an idea for a gimmick sort of card that would work brilliantly with this, feel free to knock yourself out. I'm going to give you one of the back designs. It's this generic back design. This is the one that's got the Back to the Future guys on it, Marty and Doc.
I noticed that Marty and Doc, yeah.
Marty and Doc. They're not, the Marty and Doc aren't anywhere in the deck, but they are on the back of this particular one card that shows you the gimmick. And so that back design will be uploaded on there, so people can then take it to wherever they want it to be, take it further. And I'm interested to see what they come up with actually. And the same with the tube. We'll probably create a YouTube, a Facebook group for the tube as well, because again, people can share ideas about what they can do with it. Because I want it to become more than it is.
It's amazing, amazing. And you're going to sell out. You're going to say, you always do. You're going to sell everything by Saturday. Go home, do your wedding fair, whatever you're doing. You
yeah, wedding fair on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. I just know you will. I know you will, because honestly, your stuff is so commercial, John. It's so amazing. It really is.
Thank you.
People can't make it to Blackpool and they want to get in touch with you about ordering anything like the Lego decks or the ESP icons or anything on the tube or anything. What's your URL that they can go to?
The best way to catch me is on Facebook Messenger. So find me on Facebook Messenger, message me on that. That'll be the quickest response you get. At the moment, I'll warn you now, though, I am so snowed under with work. Don't be surprised if you don't get a response from me till after Blackpool. I will be holding some decks back for people that can't make it to Blackpool. So that will be done. There are people messaging me already. Luke of Olpay, when he first got this, within minutes of him opening the packet, he was FaceTiming me going, "This is amazing, this is amazing." I've shared it on 3 groups. And ever since, I literally watched my phone just go beep, 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 beep with messages. So I would say hang on until after Blackpool. There will be enough for you. If there isn't, I will be doing another one straight after Blackpool as well. And likewise with the tube, if we do sell out, my guy can make some more. And if there's a particular colour you want, again, he can wood stain. He'll do the oak one, which is that one. He can wood stain that in several different colours. So because that is essentially an oak one, but stained black. So that is an option as well, but it'll be one of those conversations we have after Blackpool when I've got all this other work out of the way with. I do have, for the big illusions, a 3 to 4 month waiting list at the moment for people that want them to make it. They're very, very hard to make. They take me nearly a month to make each one. I'm just finishing something for a certain soldier magician for Blackpool itself that he'll be doing on stage, hopefully, which is what's taking a lot of my time up at the moment. So wait and see that at Blackpool. And yeah, if you want something, let me know. You can get hold of me, like I say, on Facebook. You can find me on email. I'm easy to find. Just Google me. I pop up everywhere. I don't do much on Instagram because I'm an old fart who doesn't understand technology very well. So, you know, your best to do is just contact me on email or Facebook Messenger.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. John, I know you're busy. I know you got a ton of stuff to prep for. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you at Blackpool. I'm looking forward to grabbing a drink with you. I know Ryland's looking forward to seeing you as well. Thank you so much for getting us involved in the That Figures project. You should be.
Can I add one more thing to this?
Yeah.
So what people probably assume when they do this, because they'll see you on the trailer, they'll naturally assume that you got a kickback for this. I'd like just let everybody know now, he didn't. He's done this out of the goodness of his heart. Okay, he's took a crew. Him and Nemid and Ryland have been out. They took a day out, at least a day out of their time, and I know a lot more for editing. Doesn't cost me a penny. They've got nothing back from this. You know, my thanks definitely. And I know sometimes you get a bad rep, mate, and you shouldn't do, because what you've done there for. Essentially, what I'm just a small cottage industry here. I'm a one-man band, which is why everything takes quite a long time for me to get made. And for you to help me out like that, when there's no gain for you at all, is you know, brilliant, mate. So I really do appreciate what you do. I know you do a lot for the community with the videos already and everything, but Yeah, thank you, mate. From the bottom of my heart, it really does make a difference. And also your knowledge and the fact that you've been able to give them so much more information and so many more things they can do with these products that I couldn't do because I literally haven't got the skills. And I'm all for, if I haven't got the skills, let's get somebody that does know what they're doing. And you fit the bill brilliantly for that. So you don't need to thank me, mate. I thank you for it. You really do, from the bottom of my heart.
You need to keep this down. If you were not careful, people might actually start liking me. So, you know, I've got.
Yeah, I know. That's true. That's true. Well, thank you, mate. I do appreciate it. I really do. And to Ryland as well, and Nemid.
Mate, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. It's an incredible project. I believe in it 100%. It's why I wanted to get involved in it. And I know you're going to sell out. And it's going to be one of those things, I think, people are just going to continue to buy because it transcends everything. Kid shows, family shows, corporates, weddings, close-up, stage. You can do it all. And now it's great for Ryland that he can do his signature stage piece, which you created for him, in a close-up situation as well. It's just amazing. So thanks, man.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Awesome. Guys, leave a comment down below for John. Go and check out his stand. I guarantee you, don't come crying to me halfway through day 2 when everything's sold out. I will just turn around and say, I told you so. Go and check out John before anyone else. Go and leave a comment down below. And on behalf of John Morton, thank you very much for checking out this video. I'll be back soon with another video, and I'll see you at Blackpool Magic Convention 2023. I'll be the one getting drunk in the bar. I'll see you then.